For the next hour, we're going to be wandering around the ship, and we're going to be enjoying the history. Now, when I was about your age, I started taking history in school. And for me, history was dull and boring. Not my favorite subject because it was just memorization of dates and facts. It wasn't until I heard the background stories of historical events that history opened up for me. And this tour here is loaded with a lot of background information for you. So I hope it's fun, educational, and enjoyable for you. If you have one of these items here, a cellular phone or a mobile as they call them in the UK, please ring them for silent running. It can be easily done by activating the phone.
I'm going this way or this way?
Moving the volume control all the way down. Are you here? All right, folks, let me have you gathered here by the Christmas trees in a small group. Right over here, operated by Cunard Line. We have a contract to transport the mail from the UK to North America, the United States and Canada. They've been doing it since 1840. The very first ship that they used was a paddle wheel boat. It was called the Britannia. Paddles drove the ship, not propellers. It was coal-powered, and it could cross the ocean in 10 days. 96 years later, the Queen Mary comes along to make the same crossing in 4 days. So that gives you an idea how technology had advanced in just about under a century. This ship was built in Clydebank, Scotland, in the shipyards of John Brown and Company. 7,000 people were employed by John Brown to work on this ship. The ship is not welded together, she's riveted together. You see the little bumps on the steel there? Those are rivets. 10 million rivets alone are holding the hull together. 7,000 people worked on this, putting in the rivets one at a time, and they did so day and night. Work was progressing quite well for about a year when it suddenly stopped. The Great Depression came to and affected the... I'll answer your question a little later, all right?
Yeah, wait.
All right? So the Great Depression finally taking its toll on the ocean liner industry. Cunard had run out of money. So you all heard of Winston Churchill, right? Neville Chamberlain was the Prime Minister of England before him. He came up with an idea to bail out Cunard so they could finish the Queen Mary and the Queen Elizabeth, but they had to merge with their rival in the high seas, the White Star Line. Can anybody in this group name a famous ocean liner from the White Star Line?
What is it, Amir? White Star Line?
Atlantic.
Titanic.
Titanic. Okay, so this ship is indirectly related to the Titanic. Now, which one do you think is bigger, the Queen Mary or the Titanic?
No.
The Queen Mary has 3 smokestacks, and the Titanic has 4 smokestacks. So which one do you think is bigger?
Queen Mary.
The Queen Mary.
The 4th smokestack of the Titanic was a fake. We put it on there to make it look like it was going faster. If you were to hollow out this ship, you could fit 1.5 Titanics inside the Queen Mary. The Titanic was 882.5 feet long. This ship, 1,019.5 feet long. Yeah. So the ship was officially named on September the 26th, 1934. She got her name named after Queen Mary. This is the King of England at the time, King George V. That's his wife, Victoria Mary of Teck. Out of respect for his grandmother, the great Queen Victoria, she dropped her name and just through the realm was known as Queen Mary. You can imagine this. This is a beautiful day, right? No, umbrellas are open. It's September. It's wet. It's cold. It's rainy.
Beautiful day.
The intermittent rain failed to dampen the spirits of the 20,000 people who came to see this christening. Queen Mary steps up to a microphone and she says, "I am happy to name this ship Queen Mary And I wish all who sail on her success. And she cuts a beautiful little golden cord, and an Australian bottle of wine comes smashing against the hull, and the ship takes off into the Clyde. Not on her maiden voyage, like many people think, but she's finished off on the water for another 18 months. Finally, in May of 1936, on the 27th, she takes off on her maiden voyage. She services Southampton, England, to New York with a brief stop in Cherbourg, France. And she did this for about 3 years until war was declared against Germany on September the 2nd, 1939. And this is what happened. Right over this way, folks. Yeah, they're called rivets. Let me have to wait right over here, folks. Right over here.
You like this time? This is cool, right?
Okay. So the ship is in the middle of the Atlantic, right?
Listen.
War is declared between two safe harbors. The captain orders that all these windows here be locked in, and the ship zigzags away to New York. She makes it there in 2 days. This is where she ended up, right here. This is the Hudson Bay, or the Hudson River. This is the Cunard One-Star Facility, and this is the Queen Mary after she was painted gray. She was converted into a troop transport carrier. 750,000 military personnel were transported on this ship over its 6 ports of the war. This is her sister ship, Queen Elizabeth. She caught fire from Hong Kong Harbor in 1976 and sank there. And this is Francis Normandy. This Normandy had a similar incident, caught fire right here. You know what happens when a ship catches fire?
Happens.
The fire department learns the #1 rule in maritime physics. Water outside the boat, good. Water inside the boat, not good. They use too much water to put out the flames. The boat capsizes and sinks right in the burn. It happened here, and it happened to this ship. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. So, this ship, after the Second World War, had one more duty. Return our military members to the United States and Canada. And reunite families by bringing 13,000 war brides and their beautiful babies. Isn't that cool, folks? After the war and all that was done, she was returned to her peacetime elegance. Let's go inside and take a look. Okay, folks, this is the main hall. This is where the first-class passengers were permitted to socialize and shop. Second class and third class were not permitted here. We had here originally the bookstore, W.H. Smith's bookstore, still in business today, 81 years later. Today, this area here is taken up by Women Welcome Center. Over here at the wine tasting room, originally was a tobacco shop. We also sold
Wait a minute.
for children in the first class section.
Wait,
Over
Mary.
in this area here was the library.
Wait a minute.
I'll answer any questions after the tour, okay? All right, over here was the library. So if you didn't want to buy a book, you could borrow a book here. Over here was the ladies' drawing room. After supper, the men and the ladies would separate from each other. They would withdraw from each other. The men would go over here and they would buy cigars, and they'd go down to the men's first-class smoking lounge down the promenade deck. The ladies would go in here, they'd socialize, write letters, postcards, things like that. After that, about an hour later, the men and the ladies would reunite and they would dance their way across the Atlantic in the main hall, which will be seen in a little bit. So on Sundays, this area here, the library, was actually used as the Anglican chapel. On Sundays, this was the Catholic chapel, and the Queen Mary is the very first ocean liner of the kind to actually have a synagogue down on B level all the way forward. We also had a kosher kitchen. Over here, in the center here, was Austin Reed's bookstore. If a man spilled wine, red wine on his shirt, he could get a brand new shirt right here. He could be fitted for a suit here as well. Austin Reed's is still in business today, 81 years later. Above it, the best example of Art Deco in Southern California. That's called the Frieze. It was done by Maurice Lambert, who was born in Paris, France, in 1901. His artwork's been prominently displayed on the Queen Mary, the Queen Elizabeth, and he was also a featured artist of the 1939 World's Fair in New York City. Now, ladies, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. There was no ladies' clothing store in Queen Mary. This has nothing to do with chauvinism. It has everything to do with good business. You see, two first-class ladies would not be caught dead on board an ocean liner wearing the same outfit. So it was just bad for business. Now, back there we have this medallion of Queen Mary that was done by Lady Hampton Young. It was carved out of marble. Cunard kept the original, and they allowed us to make a copy of it, which is on here in Blackwood, Maryland. Right this way, folks. Let's look at this photograph here as you walk by, okay? Right this way.
I saw this place. I've been. Yeah. But it's
Playroom.
playroom.
Right this way, folks. Thanks, bro.
So that's babysitting room.
Yes.
Okay.
Right this way.
The playroom's at
Oh, it's down here.
Queen Mary.
I can guarantee inside the playroom you will not find any batteries. All these are the original toys that were found in the Queen Mary on her final voyage. The Queen Mary was purchased by the city of Long Beach for $3,450,000. Why? The reason she was purchased by the city of Long Beach is that the world changed the way it traveled in 1960. For the same amount of fare, you could fly over the Atlantic on a jet in a matter of hours. This ship would take passengers for 4 days on the ocean. But you know what? The average first-class passenger gained 14 pounds on a round trip. The food was very yummy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is how this area worked. Mommy and Daddy would take their children out for a spin on the sun deck, maybe up to the sports deck for some exercise, perhaps play a little shuffleboard. This would develop a tremendous thirst for Mommy and Daddy, right? So they would open up a little door over here, the child would walk across a bridge, and they would sit on top of a chute, and Mommy and Daddy would give them a little push, and whoosh, right into this room they would fall, or slide down. There was a chute, they'd slide right down
The chute's gone?
Yeah, we took it out so you could see inside. So, this is where the term was officially coined, dropping off the kids. Now then, Mommy and Daddy would go right over here to the observation bar, and this is where they would have their Manhattans, their Singapore slings, various types of brews were served here. And of course, the most popular drink of that age was the martini. Now, you and I, we don't drink martinis, right? They're very potent, they're very, very strong and powerful. I'll tell you, after 2 or 3 martinis on board the Queen Mary, they turn into martoonies. And then Mommy and Daddy will stagger out of here, and they'll look at each other in total bewilderment and say, "Where did we leave our room?" Every level of the ship looks exactly the same. So they would come over here, knock on the door, get their child, and their child would guide them back to their rooms. Sheer genius! Now let's tell you a little bit about the observation bar here. We're going to walk right through it in a moment. This room here was very popular when the waters were calm. When the waters were rough, it would be a terrifying experience because through the 21 windows you would see the bow of the Queen Mary being submerged by the ocean's waves. This ship plowed its way through the Atlantic. We have a balustrade when you walk by here, this beautiful railing over here is done by Austin Crompton Roberts. It's made out of Burma Bright, and it has little creatures between beer barrels. Behind the bar, a beautiful mural. It's called the King's Jubilee. It celebrates the 25th anniversary of the reign of King George V. So let's step inside. Oh, by the way, perhaps you heard the ship is haunted.
Yes.
I don't know about that, but I can guarantee you'll find the finest of spirits in this room. Right this way.
How do you get in the playroom?
Oh.
You can't.
You got it. We have a new playroom for you. It's called the Lego room.
Wait, I already did one.
Oh, well.
How do you get in that?
Well, it's under lock because we don't allow anybody in there.
It's history. You don't want it to get.
Right this way, folks. Come on. Right this way, folks. I'm one of the few tour guides that does permit drinks on my tours, but if you do want to get something from the bar sometime before a tour, ask for a plastic cup, okay? And now, folks, you notice that you're on a hill? Sheer deck design. She's shaped like a banana. The ship isn't welded together, she's riveted together. So the rivets need some sort of strength and flexibility. So that's why she's a sheer deck design. And all these windows here are for the first class passengers to enjoy the view without feeling the cold. Remember, back in the North Atlantic, you'd be passing icebergs. Wow.
Mom, what? Where's Tony?
Oh, this is where the boogie gets done right here.
Yeah, but then
This is where you do the cha-cha-cha, baby. Come in here.
Let me, guys, go over there. I'll take a picture of you.
on the stage.
No, don't go on the stage. Come here.
I'm here.
Look at that mirror. Look how beautiful that mirror is.